Hi, I'm Michael Bean, and this is a confidence on camera lesson for Tuesday, May 26th. You can always find out more about these at confidenceoncamera.com. Also, starting next week, these will be happening at 3:30 to 4, and you can find them at myfreeactingclass.com. Be sharing those with Kirsten Clarkson. So I will be teaching Monday, Tuesday. She'll be teaching Wednesday, Thursday, and we will be having decision maker, industry guests, directors, producers, casting directors coming in on Fridays to talk to us. The folks who know from the inside what it is like to book somebody and what it takes to get that work. Today we are talking about confidence, and we're going to be talking to actor Rekha Sharma. Rekha is somebody I've known for a long time. Let me show you her IMDb page. So I couldn't make her demo work, but Rekha Sharma was born in Vancouver, BC. Here we go. Sand and Snow with Past Never Dies, Limetown, so recurring character, Suspense. Right, look how many of these are 2019. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bravest Warriors, so 2, 3 recurring roles in 2018, including Star Trek Discovery here. This one did incredible things for her career, which maybe she will tell us about. And then we go back. Star Trek continues. So another spot on the Star Trek series, The 100. She had a really solid recurring role there, and Shattered Hellcats, Listener, V, recurring role there, and then Battlestar Galactica, 32 episodes. So for 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, was working on Battlestar Galactica a lot. So you can look at her resume in more detail if you want. I will cut and paste this into the chat window right afterwards. Rekha is also like a very sensitive human, who trained as a counselor, studied theater, cares a lot about art and craft, and I'm really excited to expose you. Hey, there she is.
Hi.
Today. So I don't know how much Zooming you have done, Rekha Sharma, but if you put this into gallery view, you'll be able to see everybody's face. It's just in the top right corner.
I'm on gallery view.
Perfect. Okay. And so I'm going to spotlight you. Hey, everybody. And so we looked at your IMDb. I was going to show them some pictures just for fun, because for whatever reason I had trouble making your right. So Star Trek, so Star Trek-y.
Yeah.
Right for this. More Star Trek, different Star Trek. Are there any Battlestar Galactica pictures in here?
Right. After the FBI, just below there is Battlestar Galactica. The FBI is V.
Look at you being all serious.
Yeah.
Right on. Anyway, so we're not making it up. She's actually been doing this thing. Thanks so much for joining us today, Rekha.
My pleasure.
Tuesdays we've been talking about confidence, but just to use that as a very loose frame, for talking about your own journey as an actor. Did you start acting when you were a young person? I don't remember whether or not you did.
Yes, but not professionally in the industry. I just was acting in school.
Yep.
Since elementary school, in the school plays and stuff. What about you guys? Did you guys act in school, or only professionally? In school?
I guess is that, but, hands up if you do acting in school, right? We'll just take it like a quick poll. Yeah. Okay. And so hands up if you do acting professionally, if you like have an agent and audition, right? So,
Okay. Wow. You guys are pros before I became pro.
well, yeah, like these are the keeners, who show up, can for a 1 o'clock lesson. Um, so can you talk a little bit about your journey, starting, to act, or whether that's, including your school experience, but sort of what that's looked like for you, getting to the point where you consider yourself a competent, skilled actor, and what that has looked like for you along the way, and what it looks like now, and
Right. I mean, it depends on which day you ask me.
yes, which is I think a good reminder for everybody.
Yeah. But I definitely more recently kind of feel like, okay, like I've done enough now. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, I might feel like I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I knew what I was doing right from the start in a lot of ways. In fact, when I think about my very first audition for a school play, it was because I could see the other actors who were auditioning, and I could tell right away. I was like, well, that person's not very good. That person did a great job. I think there's something in us when we're naturally gifted at something that we can see what works and what doesn't. I could even critique actors and actresses on television and movies. I remember saying to my mom, well, that person's not very good. How did they become the star of the movie? Do you guys have a similar experience? Hands up.
And then,
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
and then what was that like for you, auditioning? So the
Yeah, so I think it's good to know, like, I think we're talking about confidence today, right? Like, so I think it's good to know what you know and what you don't know. And that's a way of building confidence, is being really honest with yourself. So, like, for whatever reason, I had a good nose for good acting from the start. I could see it, I could spot it. And I had an acting teacher tell me, like, recently in the last like 10 years, that I have excellent taste. So that's something I haven't lost. And that's where I started, with my good taste and my good nose. And when I auditioned, I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. Or at least that's what I thought. I guess I'm saying the opposite of that. Somehow I knew what I was doing and I just did it. And then lo and behold, I ended up getting one of the lead roles in the school play. And I just was so into it. I was having so much fun. And I was the only kid who bothered to memorize my lines, the only kid who went the extra mile. And I remember when my family came to see the play, they were blown away. And some of the other kids' parents, who I didn't even know, came up to me and told me how great I was. And that was interesting because honestly, I was so busy having a good time and getting into this character and getting into telling this story that I didn't even think about how other people would respond. And I think that was the smartest, without realizing it, that was like the best thing I could have learned from that experience.
did that carry over to film and TV when you started auditioning for film and television? Or do you see that still being effective for you?
I would say when I can be so into what I'm doing that I'm not even thinking about how people are receiving it, that's when I do my best work.
Hmm. And what supports you in taking that approach to the work?
I think, for one thing, reminding myself of it. I mean, wait a second. And catching it when it comes up, when I'm reading a script and I'm looking at it and I find myself thinking, like, okay, they want this, or they're looking for that, or how will I impress them, or how can I make them notice me, or any of those things where I start thinking about how I'm going to be received. I'm like, whoa, 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 stop that, stop that. That's not my job. My job, and I sometimes what helps me is I think of it like reading a story. You know, when you're, how many of you read storybooks that you really like? Great. Everybody. Awesome. It's, I believe it's one of the, yeah, Michael too. I believe it's one of the best ways to become an awesome actor is to read great stories because we're storytellers. And the way that you are when you read a novel, a storybook, you just dive in and there's all these descriptions about how the characters are feeling and what they see in their world and how they live their lives. And you know how you like kind of lose yourself? You forget about what time dinner is or whatever, and you're just in that book. You're in another world. And when I can, as a professional actor, take that script and dive into another world, that's when I do my best work. And that's when I'm happiest. And honestly, the more time that I can spend thinking about how much fun I'm having and focusing on having fun, that's where I get my confidence because it's in me. It doesn't come from Michael saying how awesome I am. I like it when he tells me how awesome I am.
She's pretty awesome.
But that's not where my confidence comes from. It does not come from other people. It comes from me doing things that make me happy and feel alive. And I'm like, yeah, when it's over. That's where my confidence comes from. Yeah. I don't know. Did I answer the question?
I think so. Yeah. I just wanted to like quickly write that down because it was it's so quotable.
Okay, great. um, what's the next question?
Well, and just anything about so when you're preparing a script, then like how do you trick yourself into the fun? You know, like what keeps bringing your attention back to the fun? You know, when so much of what's on the page or in the breakdown uh, makes it easy to lead into here's what they want.
Right.
I love what you said there that you just practice catching yourself every time your mind goes to like what did they want from me and
Yeah. And sometimes that takes a whole audition. Like I don't even realize it until the end. Or
yes.
at the end I go, oh God, I didn't have any fun.
Hmm.
What happened? It's already gone off to the casting directors. It's already happened in the room. And I think, oh, I was trying to please them. I was trying to get them to like me.
Hmm.
When, I mean, we've all tried to make friends, right? And the people who like you are the people who like you. And just because they're like into the same stuff. And honestly, those are the people I've worked with. They see me audition and I'm in the right headspace where I'm just focusing on what I like, on having fun. And they're like, oh, we like the same kind of fun. We want to play the same game. Because I've done it the other way, where I do focus on trying to, you know, make other people happy or whatever. And then if you book the job that way, then I often find these aren't really the people I want to play with.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I sold them a game that I didn't even want to play. Now I'm still playing this game because that's what I got hired to do. Anyway, sidebar, hopefully still relevant.
Still relevant.
Totally relevant. So the question was, how do I keep it fun?
Yeah, how to keep it fun for yourself.
Yeah, part of that is just like coming back to that question because I honestly I forget a lot, especially like over the years of doing it. You know, sometimes I get like bogged down by lots of negative thinking. And I have to go, wait, stop that. How can I make this fun? What's fun about this? How would I want to see this done? If I was the director, I wrote the story, what excites me? And then I'll just start. And then, like, sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, I can't find anything. I hate this dumb script. You know, like, I don't like this character, whatever. And I have a terrible attitude and I'm grumpy and I don't want to do it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun. That little idea, that one idea, or that one line that I like in the script. And just start there. And like, maybe that line is smart in a way that I like. And I'm like, okay, let me just expand that. Whatever that smart thing is, maybe she's smart like that over here in this line too. And maybe she thinks the other person she's talking to is ridiculous. And that makes me feel happy. And I just keep reaching for things that make me feel excited, that make me feel happy, that make me open up that world into that storybook. And sometimes I'll even say that. I'm like, okay, right, this is a world. This is a story. What's not on the page? Because you know when you read a storybook, how, like, let's say the scene in the script is girl walks into a garden and she asks the driver if it's time to leave yet, and she's nervous. And that's what you're supposed to do in the audition. Then I'll think, okay, what if this was a novel? What would have happened? Okay, it opens and I'm in the house and I look out the window and I can see the driver and I can see that they're waiting for me. And the house is so quiet, it feels like it's like oppressive. But I gotta go down the stairs because they're waiting for me and I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't go down the stairs. So I can hear the creaking of the stairs. I go down, I come out into the garden and it's bright and beautiful, but it's like all I can see is the fence. It makes me feel like I'm caged into this house. And that driver, he's looking at me and he's got that mean look on his face and he stinks like cigarettes. Ew, I don't want to talk to him, but I have to talk to him. And then I say my first line and all of a sudden it's way more exciting. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say here? Yeah?
Okay. Do you get nervous, for auditions still? Is that something that, how would you say that has changed? And what do you know to do with your nervous?
So again, the nervousness comes from the thinking that I have to impress, that I'm not good enough just as I am. I'm worried about what they think. It's all the same stuff. It's like outside, outside, outside. Do they like me? Are they going to like me? Will they pick me? Oh my goodness. None of that matters. So I have to remind myself when I'm in the audition room that those are the thoughts that I'm having, that there are thoughts behind my nervous feeling. So I go, okay, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? Because I'm thinking thoughts that are not my friend. They're not my friend. So then I'll replace them with thoughts that either I've gotten from teachers who I trust, who love me, loving thoughts. Like Larry Moss. Michael and I both studied with Larry Moss. And Larry Moss told me years ago that I'm as good as anybody that he's ever worked with. And he's worked with big stars. I'll never forget it when he said that sentence. And I remind myself of that. Right. Somebody who I really trust, who's a good person, told me that I got what it takes. Right. Okay. And that helps me calm down a bit. And then I think, yeah, he's right. I am really good. And I talk to myself that way. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. It's not what this is about. In fact, wait a second, they don't want me to try and go in there and prove myself to them because they know that that's not what they're looking for either. And then I calm down more. Right, okay, all of that is garbage thinking. So I can throw it in the garbage. And then I go back to, right, this story. What is the story?
And that takes you back to the fun.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a nice
Yeah.
full circle.
Yeah. Pick up the page and I go, okay, what's here? Right. This girl really wants to talk to that guy. And I'm this girl.
Let's open it up for questions. I could keep asking you questions, for the next 10 minutes, no problem. But if there's one of the folks who's here today who has a specific question for you, whether it is directly related to what we're talking about, or not, we've got these next 10 minutes with Rekha. What do you want to know from her? And so there's so few of you, you can probably just hit the space bar and unmute yourself, and shout your question out. If everybody has questions all at once, then we might have to do hands. Who's got a question? Anybody? For Rekha Sharma?
Nothing. Question.
Maddox.
What is your favorite type of genre to act for?
Favorite type of genre? Gosh, I work a lot in science fiction, and I love it because they get to ask big questions about life, and I find it really inspiring. Do any of you watch Star Trek?
When I was a kid.
Yeah. I love Star Trek because it's very inspiring, and it's about being the best person that you can be and doing the right thing, and leading your life with nobility and dignity, and just being a good person. And I love that about science fiction, that there's a lot of that in not in all of them, but I love that in general about storytelling. But I like a lot of different genres, honestly. I love comedy so much. Comedy is probably my favorite.
Daphne had a question that she just threw in the chat window. It says, have you ever had a dream where you were in the audition room and they start laughing and kick you out? And how would you say to handle it, even if it's from years ago? So Daphne, do you mean how would you handle that experience if it really happened? Or how do you handle the sort of nightmare, are you talking about the nightmare or the real thing? The nightmare. Okay, great. Sort of how do you deal with your brain going all the scary things that might happen?
Right. That sounds like a terrible dream. I don't want that dream.
Yeah.
I've had nightmares on days that I am going to set, where I, just before I wake up, where I dream that I've slept in and I'm late for work. I have had that a lot, and that's really makes you so anxious, and we have to get up so early to go to set. It's or I have dreamt that I've forgotten all my lines, and it's stressful. But what I do is I do my morning routine when I wake up, which makes me feel better, which is I do some yoga, I drink my tea, I kind of just try to do whatever I can to shake it off and go, okay, that's a dream. That's my fear inside of me yelling really loud, so loud that I had to make a whole dream about it. And I remind myself that it's not reality. And I mean, if it's something that keeps happening, then sometimes like being afraid that I don't remember my lines, that nightmare might happen because I actually haven't worked on my lines enough. So I think also, like, if you're having kind of the same dream, it might be like pointing to something. It might be your subconscious mind saying, hey, like, you need to work on this, So then I'd be like more prepared with my lines memorized so that I won't have that scary dream anymore. And I think that works.
If does anybody else have a question for Rekha before we wrap up? Rekha, this is maybe a little bit more connected to what we would normally talk about on Thursdays when we cover the industry lesson. But because you've been living and working in LA for the last couple of years, I'm curious, sort of what you're hearing, from your agent and manager and people, or from your peers about what's happening, there for like auditions and work, like what you're experiencing, what you're expecting. I think it's, on everybody's mind, and hearing about your experience of it would be useful.
I mean, do you mean with the pandemic?
Yes.
Okay. So I just had an audition come in while we're on this call. There are still auditions coming in, but there are fewer auditions at the moment for on-camera stuff. The voiceover industry is definitely expanding. The voiceover agents are the busiest agents right now, both in Canada and the US. I've had more voiceover auditions than anything these days. And I'm not even an established voiceover actor. Things are gearing up, though, here in Vancouver. The industry is winding up to go back to camera for July. So people are going into pre-production for June, and I think I will be working as early as July 20th, and maybe into August. And the audition that just came in for on camera in LA is for the fall. I personally think that there's a good chance that we might get in some filming in the summer while it's warm. And then everybody's talking about the second wave of the pandemic hitting in the winter. So I have a feeling the industry may close up again in the late fall, early winter. That's sort of my sense.
And have you already do taped auditions pretty regularly, even like pre-quarantine? Have you seen
Yes.
Have you seen any change in that? Are there different expectations, around taped auditions that you're seeing on your end, or have you been asked to do Zoom auditions at all yet?
I haven't yet, but I do hear that that's the way things are going to start to go. The auditions that you would have gotten called into the room for, you're now going to do Zoom meetings. It will be still conducted similar to going to an audition where you'll be in a Zoom waiting room. Mm-hmm. So you'll sign in and you'll be in the waiting room with a number of other people, and then you'll get called in to go into the Zoom audition at the particular time. I know that a lot of people are putting out information on how to do self-tapes. I have a feeling the expectations over the next year for the quality of your self-tapes is going to become higher.
Yes.
So there'll be, we can all learn lots about that, about how to make it look nice and sound good. And of course, most importantly, how to do the best acting work that you can. The big difference for me is I'm no longer doing it with a friend, because I would normally go to a friend's place and they're reading across from me and we tape it. And now I've got my friend on my laptop on FaceTime, sort of sidled up next to the camera as close as I can get it. And I've got a little microphone by the computer and then the other one just on my shirt. And, you know, you have to figure out the levels. And I've got a little Bluetooth button that goes to my phone where I'm recording, and I press the button to start the take. And let me tell you, it's happened a number of times where I thought I pressed start and I didn't start. So I ended up doing a whole take of the scene and it wasn't even recorded.
Technology.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, learning to, one thing I've learned is that now that I'm doing them myself, I really need to check in the first couple of takes. I need to watch it back. I feel like that's the best piece of advice I could give, is watch back the first or second take just to see if you're positioned correctly, just to see if the other person is being heard for all the technical reasons. And then also because there is nobody across from you giving you any feedback, really. I mean, your friend can kind of give you some feedback, but they're not seeing what you're recording. So it's a really good idea to watch it and just see that everything makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for staying with us a couple of minutes over time. You know,
Yeah,
is there sort of any last piece of advice that you would go back and give yourself as a young actor, you know, from this experienced place of now?
Just follow your heart, do what you love, just follow the fun, have fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. If you all would, let me see, I think I can unmute you all like this. But unmute yourself, you know, to say thanks to Rekha for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rekha.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.